I haven't watched it yet. I got the OG Dune. Uh,
Yep.
I got this from the library. You know why I started watching Twin Peaks? Because I
I
went.
love I love Twin Peaks. I am literally watching like the 25 years later limited series now.
I'm in the middle of it right now too.
I just finished the first 2 seasons. I thought it was amazing. So I am just
You need to watch
literally
my
starting.
reviews.
I will now that I know you have it. But okay, look, I I am on the first episode where it's like 25 years and Cooper is getting like out of the Black Lodge supposedly, and his body was taken over by that entity of some sort. However long
Did you
ago.
watch the movie?
No.
Do not continue. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to go back, and I guarantee you, it helps. This is
Okay. Okay. Here
Twin Peaks hour. Oh, my brother's. Everybody's gonna hate me.
I
I've
have
been
the
doing a lot of Twin Peaks
wait.
talks.
I have the Bucks series, right? Like I
Uh,
got the whole thing, and I'm watching all the discs in order, and there's no movie. It says limited
okay.
series. I'm on this one that says part one or part two, and it says I can watch it as a full length feature if I were to combine the first
Yeah, yeah,
part
yeah.
one and part two. Is that what you mean by movie?
No, it's a different thing. So there's a movie called Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me. Have you heard of this?
Ah, Fire Walk with Me. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't
This
know what movie you're talking about, but I know that line.
It came out in 1994, a couple years after the show ended. But it's a prequel to the show, and there it's required viewing. I'm sorry, because there is a lot of visual cues it sets up for the return. There's and so I got so okay. So basically, I started watching Twin Peaks because I was on a Dune high. I was trying to find this effing, David Lynch's Dune. It wasn't
Yeah.
there because everybody was on their Dune high. So I was like, okay, well, I haven't checked in the Twin Peaks, and I wanted some David. I was not leaving without some David Lynch. So I went. I was like, I'm gonna crack this open, see how it is, and I've been on it for months now. Uh, Also, I've been moving in the process, so like season two. And when I was in the middle of season two, it took me a long time to get through. But also, I think season two is not as good as season one. That's my
I mean, it's
take.
not, but I still like it a lot. Yeah.
The final episode is effing nuts in season two. Uh,
Yeah, it is nuts. And they were it wasn't intended to end like that. Like it's,
no,
declining ratings and stuff. But so it was actually very I don't know. I don't know if they knew they were going to be canceled when they were still filming it, but because it was really well set
it
up that
seems
they
like
said
it.
the line. Yeah, it seems like it was very intentional to say like I'll see you in like David Lynch had the idea like okay we know we're going to get canceled so let me say this so that way in 25 years I can make a new season and we'll just like we'll work with what we got
I think he
because that's
was
how
just
it
trying
seems.
to be
But
like,
if it wasn't intentional, I was gonna say if it wasn't intentional, that's really cool how it all worked out that way. But so yeah, I'm just now seeing it's so I didn't expect it because I didn't know that's when I knew there was a gap. I knew there was going to be a gap somewhere. I didn't know that it was going to be at the end of season two. So now I just started the limited series like the 25 years later, and like Kyle McLaughlin's so like they're all so old now. They're
I
all
know.
way,
But
and
what I
it's just
like,
like
but notice though, visually, it looks like it came out a year later. Like the fuzz
like
and the like, just the air, like just how it feels like it came out a year later, even though they're
no,
all old,
it definitely
obviously.
yeah. So far, it feels that way. It does feel very like it does.
Hold on, I'm moving my computer.
Of course, it looks more high definition. It's not grainy, but
Yeah,
yeah, it definitely looks a little bit. I mean, it's a lot more high definition, but as it's filmed, like the transitions, the tone of it, like the long pauses, the lack of, like music that's always in the background, it is very, very much uh, the same. It's as weird as the Twin Peaks as I know it so far.
Okay. So yeah. Dang it. A little bit more on the Twin Peaks. So yes, there was a movie. It was called Fire Will Walk with Me. A couple of years. It's a prequel. I got it from the library. I was lucky enough to get it from the library because the library has these very good editions of these effing things. So this is what's going to break your brain a little extra. So the movie
Well,
came out.
you're not going to spoil anything from the movie, are
No,
you?
I'm not going to spoil a single thing, but
Okay,
it's
good.
just a strange order of events leading up to the return. Uh, so show ends in like 92 or something like that. On a cliffhanger, as we all well know. Then this movie comes out. People hear about it. They're like, "Are you gonna end? Are you gonna like wrap up what happened in season two?" No, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a prequel. It is so necessary. You learn. It's like, oh, all right. This is not a spoiler. It is basically following the last week of Laura Palmer's life. You are not going to get any new info. Well, you're going to get the same information recontextualized. That's all I'm going to say. You're
Is
not
it the
going to learn
same actors?
anything. Same everybody. Everybody's back. And also they had the perk of not
Woo!
everybody. Like
I
some
gotta
people
go. I
didn't
gotta go
die
watch this
back
really
then.
quick. Sorry, gotta go. I gotta go watch it right now. So,
Oh my god! Oh my god! You do no. But you do need to watch it. But here's another thing you need to look up after you finish that, and this is what it is brain breaking. So there are teases to the return in that movie. That's one. In 2014, this is 10 years ago, they come out with a special edition of Firewalk with Me, the movie.
uh,
Uh, and it comes with a feature length thing of deleted scenes from the movie. It's like an hour and a half. And some of it is like just mostly just fun, more Twin Peaksy type things. Some of it, it's like you get to see minor spoiler. Not much. I swear it's not. It's a deleted scene. Minor spoiler. But you get to see a couple seconds after the very last shot of Twin Peaks season two. That's all I'll say. Like when he says, "Where's Annie?" You get to see him leave the bathroom. I'll say that. Uh, yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Okay. But what was crazy is this thing that has that scene came out in 2014, almost 30 years later, and people are getting a little, just a crumb more extra information to the season two thing that they were waiting for. Like he could have done that in like the '94 movie.
I
Uh,
feel like there will be a lot more scenes, probably like released in some special edition that were never released before. I love it so much that okay. Do you have a VR? No, you don't have VR. Like a headset. So I have an Oculus Quest 2, and there's this platform called Horizon Worlds, which is like the social media of VR. It's like it's not like a Facebook wall or anything, but it's you have an avatar. You get to go into this world. You can create worlds. Like you literally can make your own little worlds, and it's not super detailed. You get like limited tools and stuff to do it, so it's kind of like tough. But somebody out there made the Black Lodge, and I went into it, and I was like, "This is so amazing!" Like it was brilliant. I mean, it wasn't. They didn't make like the multiple rooms, unfortunately, which I think would have been awesome if they did. Which I might do now that I know how to make worlds. I've been watching tutorials. I've been kind of practicing stuff. But theirs is really, really well done. So they can make little animations in it, and they can put their own like sound recordings, and so they put like little clips from like the characters in the Black Lodge, like the sounds they make or the weird dreams he has, like the things that the other characters say. Uh, and then like just things that just pop up randomly like in front of you, and like okay, I was sitting in one of the chairs in the Black Lodge, like one of the black chairs, like the one that Cooper sits in, and I thought that like I didn't know there was any animation or sound in this thing at all when I first started sitting in there. So I was just like kind of like just vibing in there, and I was like looking on my like my browser or whatever, and it was just sitting in the room like it was a lobby, and then all of a sudden this thing whispers in my very like creep. I was like freaked the hell out because I didn't know that it had any of that. And then I take my browser away, so now I'm just sitting in the room and I'm just waiting to see what happens. And then like at one part, like there's like bloody footsteps walking on the floor, and then this tree with like a skull pops up out of nowhere, and then more creepy sounds like on different parts. It was just so freaky, and I loved it. Whoever made that did a fantastic job because it feels very, very Twin Peaks.
Dude. Oh my god. I love that you just started.
Since like it's not very detailed. It's magic. Twin Peaks is one of my favorite things I've ever discovered. And you know who got me into it was my mother. She said that she watches a lot of crime stuff, a lot of crime documentaries, a lot of like in real. And she was like, "Do you want to see?" I always ask her, I was like, "Why do you watch all this? Like, this is so dark, isn't it? Like depressing, whatever." She's like, "You know, it all started when I was like younger in the '90s, and the show came out, Twin Peaks. I really loved it, and it got me down like this whole like crime drama like stuff." And so I started watching it. So she's like, let's watch it together. So she puts it on. And the first couple episodes, I'm like, okay, I like how weird it is. I like how weird Cooper is. His character is very, it's
like a cartoon.
I could have imagined in the '90s. But at first I thought it was just a crime show. I thought it was weird that in like the first or second, he had a dream and he was kind of like doing his investigation based off of his dream, and I thought it was a little weird, but for the most part it was just crime, detective, nothing paranormal. And then it just got fucking weird towards like the end of the first season, and then the second season when it started was just bonkers, and I'm like, what is this? And it was just a masterpiece. Everything about it is just so wonderful.
Man, I literally it's crazy.
I will recommend it. Like anybody who was a fan of a show like Twin Peaks, who enjoys it, who can get into that style of show, I guess. It's weird. It's very niche, and I could be friends with anybody who enjoys Twin Peaks. I just know that. Like, if you like that show, I can be your friend. That's all I need to know about you,
dude. When you get into, I'm not spoiling, I promise. There's an episode in The Return. That's it.
No.
It's literally just like, and it's like an hour. It's like a whole hour of like.
So I'm struggling. Okay, I'm watching this with my mother and my stepdad. So we watch it together. And I respect that, and so I don't watch it. I really want to, though, because it's so hard to watch shows with them, because they work during the day. I work overnight. Mondays and Tuesdays are the only days we have. Really hard to be in the same room together and finish. And I just want to get through it. You know, I'm so just ready to keep watching. Man. And like, okay, so the very last episode I watched before getting into The Return, last episode of season 2, you know, obviously Cooper goes into the Black Lodge. So I'm confused, like, did he make it out? Because the last thing, you know, he did was like slam his head against the mirror, and you saw his reflection, and it was like the Bob. It was Bob, and and you're like, okay, so how does this all work out? Like, was he in there the whole 25 years? Like, and it kind of seems that way in The Return. But that's not the part I'm confused about. Like, there's so much left unsaid. Like, what happened to Pete and Audrey in the explosion at the bank? You know? What happened? No, I don't want to see your expression. I'm looking away.
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to think in front of your face.
No, it's okay. Like, yeah. So what happened to Pete and Audrey? I mean, I imagine, if I had to guess, I would say they would have died because of something like that. What happened to Nadine and what was her husband's name? Ed, yeah. What happened to Ed and Nadine? Like, cause she got her memory back, and she was also like, what was up with that? Like, it was a completely unfinished story arc there. She got her memory back. I'm sure they would have ended some way, like kind of explaining what happened to her, like if they would have done a season 3 back then. But so how did it all move along? You know, his new relationship, how did that go? They didn't explain what happened to Leo Johnson, who was holding like the spider cage, which you know, that was really silly to me, because you know, tarantulas aren't really that dangerous. You know, they're pretty pretty calm creatures. And so, like, I get that he was.
I was thinking, does he have a fear of spiders? Like,
He must. Yeah, he must have gotten out of it. I mean, whatever. And then, what was his name? I don't know. I can go on and on about things that were just left unfinished, like where they just ended certain things that are weird. Oh, okay. So I now know that Audrey's father, he lived because they made it kind of seem like he died
oh, right.
in season 2, but then I see him as an older man in like the first episode of The Return. But that was weird because like right after that happened, you see like I'm really bad with all the names still. Like it's really hard for me to. There's so many characters in the show, and I'm not.
They
used to
do.
that
I
many
was
characters.
surprised at how many characters they throw at you in the first episode, and then it's like, but it helps though because they do say each other's name 1,000 times to really make sure you have to hear them 1,000 times.
Who was what is Audrey's father's name?
Audrey's father is Ben Horn.
Ben Horn, yes. And Ben Horn had another daughter, and her name Donna, right? So then, like, that whole debacle with like, they never kind of concluded that. They finally said that Ben Horn was father for sure, but they didn't really like do anything with that. Ben Horn hits his head on the mantelpiece, and
Dude.
he's dead. But then you see Donna's adoptive father, like in another scene after that happens, and he's like not in trouble. He's not in jail. He's like just calm and collected. I thought that was really weird. And then what else? What else was unfinished? There was some. Oh, they never like finished like what? So what happened to Catherine? Right? They went to the safety deposit box. It blew up with the one dude. But like, what happened with Catherine's character?
Okay. Again, no, not spoiler. No spoiler. I will just express a what's the word? Frustration with because it takes place so many years later. And I just want to say some actors can't live forever. So it's like
I understand that, but
things get dropped unceremoniously. I'll just say this. Some things I think might feel like they've been dropped unceremoniously. But I will also say I don't know yet. I think I have 4 or 5 episodes left of The Return, and every episode another thing. I'm just like, I didn't even think you're gonna what.
It's like I just watched the first episode and it literally explained nothing, and I know it'll come together as I go along.
I was
just hoping for some answers, and there was no answers.
There was one episode that I literally stopped watching because I was like, and I mean, I went back to it, but I was just like, this is frustrating me. I'm not can't engage with this right now. It's very much a.
I would finish it by the morning. I would finish it by tomorrow morning if I could just binge watch it all the way through right now.
Oh my god, it sucks so bad. Stinking. I was in the middle of watching this, watching Twin Peaks, and then the Fallout show came out, and I had to watch the Fallout show because I thought I could get some effing views. I haven't. I got 17 views on that effing video, but
I've never had Fallout.
I had to stop, and plus my brother and my cousin, they're big Fallout fans or whatever. So and they're pressuring me.
I want to watch Fallout strictly because Kyle MacLachlan is in it.
What is so funny is I go in. So I had to stop watching Twin Peaks, and I had to go into Fallout. And this is a minor spoiler for Fallout. Kyle MacLachlan's in it. He gets kidnapped, and at the end, he's in a cage in Fallout. Towards the end of the season,
you realize that you're going to be posting this online, and people are going to watch.
Yes. F them. Fallout.
17 people. We're giving a spoiler for people who might want to watch this.
It's not a spoiler. That's all I'm saying. But I'm just saying it was like a metaphor for my Twin Peaks.
I feel like that's a spoiler.
Him being kidnapped and being put in the cage. It's really not. It's not even about that. It's
minor, but it is a spoiler.
Whatever. Oh, well, they should have watched it like last month. By the time this comes out, it'll be 2 weeks.
Put it in your description when you post this.
I guess, if I remember. But it was literally like they were holding my Twin Peaks hostage because it was like he gets taken away and I had to sit and watch, and then I see him again. I'm like, just give it to me, give him back.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's a spoiler. There are way more things to spoil about Fallout. Fallout's actually better than I thought it would be, but
It was really weird because when I was younger, all I knew Kyle MacLachlan from was Dune. Like that up until my mom told me about Twin Peaks, all I knew Kyle MacLachlan from that I could think to remember was Dune. And I liked him in that movie. I mean, I thought it was a really weird movie, but it was still really good for them back then. And I think the only reason maybe I could be wrong. I wasn't around at the time, so I don't know for sure. But if I had to guess, like why I wasn't as successful when it came out, it was because like Star Wars had just come out around the same time.
I think the Star Wars of it all, and also David Lynch is a weird person to tap to do a sci-fi epic.
Yeah, it was a lot darker for sure too. I didn't know also for a long time that David Lynch was the same guy who did that as the same guy who did Twin Peaks. Crazy to me because
now it's even more crazy to me. I'm like, what are you touching this space movie for?
I like that Matthew Lillard is in the new. Yeah, dude, I saw that.
In The Return, any actor you thought, dang it, because apparently David Lynch was retired for many years until The Return. I didn't know that. And then so The Return brought him out of retirement. Any actor within the last like 5 to 10 years that you're like, man, I wish they could have worked with David Lynch. Don't worry, he got him. I guarantee you, any actor you thought, I hope he got him. He got each one. You will see. But hold on. I'm trying to get somewhat mentally back on track. Gosh darn it. So yeah,
my phone has been listening to me a little bit. I know it has because never in my life have I ever seen anything Twin Peaks on my phone, ever. And since I've started watching it and I talk about it to some people, I have been seeing more and more Twin Peaks stuff come up on my Facebook. And even spoilers from the new. So I know Michael Cera will eventually make an appearance in this.
So that was a meme. Did you know that? That was a meme.
Didn't know.
Well, I saw that as a meme, and I had no idea what it was from. And I'm not spoiling it, but I was like, oh, so there's also things in it that you didn't know you knew, that you'll know. Some things.
Yeah, so I watched part of it because I thought I was just scrolling through the reels and like it just came up in my reels and I was like, oh, Michael Cera, I like Michael Cera, and so I was watching it and then I saw something that I was like, this is a very familiar vibe, and then I like read the description and it said it was from Twin Peaks. I'm like, shit, I gotta go fast. This is something I'm sure I'm gonna want to know, just like find out organically, but like more of that keeps happening and I don't realize until it's too late, so it's really upsetting.
I also think there is a culture because of Dune when it like people have gone back to the David Lynch movie and then they've branched out into like I definitely have noticed more chatter about Twin Peaks recently, which is very interesting. But beyond literally the fact that you said you were watching it and you haven't watched my review is like, what the fudge? Go watch my review for